think where I'm at is that, you know, there's a loss of interest in the stories, in the narratives, even the war. I think you and I had a one-on-one recently where I was very consumed by the outside world, and the interest in a lot of things is sort of going. And but there's no real sense of this like joy or this, and I know that that's a story of the mind, that it's expecting, like you said to Jeanette earlier, it's expecting things to be a bit more happy and joyous. But then I kind of go, well, shouldn't it be? Otherwise, what's the point of waking up from the dream? Like, and that's the mind again, but that's where I'm at. So I don't know if I've got time, because that's quite a big, we can always do it next time if not.
You know, look, it kind of works like this, Julia. As the me is seen more clearly and more clearly and more clearly to be what it actually is, and there's less and less and less and less identification with the me character, in turn, what must also happen for even that process to be happening is that consciousness starts to become conscious. Okay? If there is indeed you know, you can, like, especially when you've been doing this for a while, you know, you can be like, hurry up. I can remember, like, what's it going to take, you know? And in my experience, there were still some things that still needed to be seen, understood is a better word. There's still some things that needed to be understood. Yeah? I thought I'd understood. I thought, like, got it covered. I got it. Yeah. And I hadn't. There was still, you know, still a couple more dots that needed connecting before all the ducks would line up, if you like. And I wasn't aware of that until I was aware of that. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just, it really comes down to that there's what is happening that you may not yet be fully aware of is that there's still an investment in the Julia story. That's all it is. Now, the good news is it's not Julia that's invested in the story. That's the good news. So you don't have to worry about it. Nothing you have to do, okay? The bad news is it's consciousness that's doing it all. And consciousness is going to shift when consciousness wants to shift. Nothing to do with the character. Yeah. So the more one comes to understand, and more often than not through a process of negation, the more we come to understand what we are not, the more conscious we become. And the more conscious we become, the more we can understand what we're not. And then the more conscious we become. The more conscious we become, the more we can understand. So it works hand in hand. If you feel like you're at a point where you're just kind of stuck or don't feel like you're moving, or you've been in the one spot for what seems like too long, yeah, don't go looking for non-duality. Don't go looking for a connection. Spend the time unraveling the me. There's still a little bit more that needs to be seen. That's all. Unravel it. Yeah. And as that happens, see, all I can tell you is this, Julia, the more conscious we become, the happier we are.
Yeah.
That I can tell you. Yeah. The brighter, the happier we are. So if you're feeling kind of flat, not necessarily flat, but just kind of, yeah. Do some more work. Do some more work on coming to understand and see what you're not. Yeah. Like what I shared this evening around the sleeping dream, the waking dream, the mechanics and consciousness, and so on and so forth. If you've never been fully aware of that process, which I discovered just picking it apart, yeah, look at that now. If that's something you haven't considered before, spend some time now looking at that, Julia. So it becomes yours. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. It becomes your realization then. Yeah. See if there's any truth. See if there's any truth at all in what I've said this evening. Yeah. And the only way you're going to know is for you to check it out. You are conscious. You've got a thinking mind. You've got a dreaming mind. You've got a body that needs to go to sleep. You've got a body that needs to wake up. It's all there. Now connect the dots. Yeah. Be really conscious though, Julia. Be conscious of connecting the dots. Yeah. And then just let go and see what happens. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go easy on yourself.
Yeah.
Go easy on yourself. It's all right. Yeah. Try and relax into this. Yeah. Try and relax into it. And even if you go exploring what I've shared here this evening and you go exploring into that yourself, be very gentle about it. Curious, affectionate awareness, or an affectionate curiosity. An affectionate curiosity. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Start practicing affection and compassion and towards the process. And you'll be surprised how much that starts igniting compassion and affection and empathy within you. Yeah. You want to stir up love in you? Love the love in you. Simple, huh? So simple. You want to start to experiencing that love, Julia? I know you do. Yeah. Start loving the love in you because it's there. You be proactive. You start. Bob would call it being affectionately aware. Add some affection into your inquiry, into your seeking. Yeah. Like, my experience is I'm pretty much just I'm in love with being in love with love. That's where I live. That's where I live. I'm in love with being in love with love. I haven't worked out a better way of saying it yet, and I'll stick to that until I do. It's all covered. I'm in love. I'm in love with being in love with love. It's covered. And that's your true nature. That's what we truly love. That's what we truly love. And that's our true nature. So start engaging the love in your own inquiry, because it's love that's doing the seeking. It's love that's the seeking, the seeker. is love. So start using it, Julia. Seriously, start using it. As you use it, it'll just self-manifest. You know, if you're sitting there thinking you're a person, and oh God, why hasn't this happened for me yet? And you're not kind of feeling too loving, don't expect love to come knocking on your door. If you want love to come knocking on your door, you better be loving. Does that make sense? Does it kind of make sense?
It does make sense, and I've had a bit of clarity as you were speaking, because I think I maybe experienced some of that in my spiritual seeking before non-duality.
Yeah.
That came, you know, some of these teachers come very, very close, but they miss out the part where you're not a separate me.
Yeah.
So I have experienced it before, and I think I maybe turned my back on a little bit of that stuff, if that's making any sense.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's no me, there's no doer, there's no, and then that.
Yeah.
And been a bit of flatness and a bit of like, well.
Totally can happen, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm here to try and correct that if I can.
Yeah, no, thank you for that.
Yeah. Just, man, just look.
Well, we've got it inside us, haven't we?
Yeah, you are it.
Yeah.
That's all you are.
I think it just reminds me of all that high vibration. You've got to keep positive, high vibe, but it's not.
That's not like that at all. It's quite personal. This love that I'm talking about, it sounds like contradiction in terms, but it's personal.
Yeah.
Because it's you. It's you.
You are love. Yeah.
You are love.
Yeah, and I experienced it when I first saw through the me.
Yeah.
You know, and then it kind of bit by bit the clouds came back on top.
Yeah. And it's at that point that I would love to have had a hold of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just kind of, okay, now just sit there with this. Just because that whoa, you know.
Yeah.
It needs to settle. It does.
Yeah.
It needs to settle until nothing can rock it.
And it's a very tricky time in the world, like you said, in our lifetime for that to happen, because it's like so many distractions.
Yes, but turn it to your advantage.
Yeah, it's there for us. Yeah.
Turn it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Can I fully go there? Fully go there. Given everything that I think is going on in the world. Don't let the thinking take you off point.
Yeah.
100%. Don't let the thinking take you off point. Your point is just this here. What's this? That's it. Nothing else. That's your only interest. Mind's throwing up all sorts of stuff, individually and what's the word? Globally. Yeah. Profound test for anybody at the moment, coming to recognise your actual true nature. If you can do it whilst you've got all this shit going on in the world, and you can. All the stuff going on in the world is just there as a distraction so that you don't get to have a look. Knowing that, turn it to your advantage. You go, well, is that right? Well, I'm going to have a look. Thank you very much. I'm going to fully go there. I'm not going to let that get in the way. What's going on in the world I'm talking about, yeah? I'm just not going to let it get in the way. Not.
Terry, do you think it helps, just for a while to not look at the news and not
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Because I hardly ever watch the news, but lately I've been tuning in.
Yeah.
An idea to just let it
let it alone. So look, if there's something serious going on, someone will tell you.
Yeah. That's what I found when I haven't watched the news much for years, but someone always tells you if you need to know something.
You'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not up to you. You don't have to keep plugging in to see what's going on around the world every day. You don't.
I feel like
Something
I'm
really serious.
more drawn into watching it. And
Yeah,
every morning
yeah.
now I'm turning it on to find out what's going on.
Yeah, don't. See if you can not do
Yeah.
that. Like really. Yeah, you're you're putting your own divinity at stake by doing that, Donna. Don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the Holy Grail. This is it. You can't let what's going on around the world get in the way of this. You can't. It has to become your primary interest, number one. And it doesn't mean that you're not compassionate, about what is going on around the world, but you're compassionate, and the love that you exude applies to wherever it is you are, whatever it is that you're doing in the immediacy of now. That's our world. Yeah, here now. Yeah. My world, for example, is not in Perth. I don't experience that world. And you can choose what world you want to plug into. It's up to you.